I would like to talk to you about one of my favorite subjects, vulnerability management program. And with that, let me get this started. This is going to be like a short video, so I want to make sure to keep everyone on track of what we'll be doing. So one of the major components of a vulnerability management program are going to be the following elements that are part of the life cycle and the things that you have to understand before entering in developing a vulnerability management program. These are the different elements in any information security that are not only good for VMP, but are also good for other understandings. And I'm going to just touch a couple of things here. Now, as you and I know, there's a lot of threats that we kind of face as an organization and that we try to protect our different companies from. Those threats can be, people trying to come in to organization to consume services. Now, we consider a vulnerability is when those threats have the ability to enter the organization like an open door, and there's no controls in place that will be able to spot those as threats. Now, the objective of these threats are going to be some type of exploitation to steal some of the assets. So a couple of important comments here is a vulnerability is something that can be discovered in the software that create an opportunity for those malicious actors to act against the organization to steal the assets or to maybe cause some type of disruption. Now, there's three parts when we talk about the vulnerability management that are going to be essential. You have to first identify your assets, identify what you want to protect, then do some type of vulnerability assessment to be able to say, okay, these are my assets and these are the vulnerabilities present in my assets. And the last part is the prioritization. And that means that not every asset is the same. Not every vulnerability will be the same for you to remediate and take prioritization in how much you reduce risk and depending on what those may be. Now, this is the complete life cycle. It starts with the discovery process that you kind of find your assets, find what is in your network, find the software that is deployed in some of those assets. You can organize by type, for example, your network devices, your servers, your computers, and then you can do the assessment based on those devices. Now, after doing the assessment, what you are looking to get is some type of report. The report should have the risk of those vulnerabilities discovered in those assets. That report should help you with the prioritization for you to create one of the most important things, which will be your remediation plan. When you execute the remediation plan, a lot of people doesn't do this step, is the verification that your remediation has been effective. So that's the kind of the last part before you start the life cycle again. Now, I want you to kind of leave with five key concepts when we talk about vulnerability management. The first one is you cannot protect what you can see. That's why that discovery process at the beginning is super, super important. The second one is that you have to focus your vulnerability management in reducing your corporate risk. It's not the same for you to protect your most critical data and devices than, maybe the less important devices, like maybe some type of laptop that you have in your environment. It's very essential that when you are trying to create that remediation plan, is that you prioritize and then try to close the gap between where you would like to be. It's not the same thing, an asset that is exposed to the internet and the risk of the vulnerability of that asset versus an internal asset that it doesn't have the same level of exposure. Now, something to consider when you create that thing is that there's going to be business requirements. So the business use some of these systems are critical for our organizations to be able to perform their daily tasks. So it's very important that you consider some of the business requirements in your remediation activities. And the last part is this is not one thing that you're going to be doing one and then you're done. This is a continuous monitoring process. This is something that you have to execute every quarter, every month, depending on your information security maturity. If you have never done this, my recommendation is to start slow, start quarterly, celebrate the small wins, and then move to a monthly program. And with that, I'm going to close the video for today. This is small videos. Contact us if you have any questions or comments. We'll be happy to help you in your vulnerability management efforts.